Hello everyone, Shoop Sports, back at it with another video today. Today we're going to be going over our NFL picks. Are you guys ready? Because I'm taking a week off, but I'm not taking this week off. I am ready. I am coming at you with 5 fantastic picks that are guaranteed to get you profit this week. And let's waste no more time. Okay, so my first pick for this week is the New York Jets. I'll be taking them again for the second time this season. The first time, they burned me a little bit, but that's because the line fell. But right now, you can get the Jets at plus 3.5 against the Falcons, and don't wait, take that right away. A few big reasons. Calvin Ridley is not making the trip, one of Atlanta's best offensive playmakers. But simply, besides from that, this line is what it is because people think that Matt Ryan is still good. And it's just his defense problem. Yes, the defense is the problem, but Matt Ryan is also not as good. And we saw what the Jets can do when they're playing a team with a bad defense. If they have a good defense, the Jets have no chance. But against a bad defense like the Falcons, this is pretty much a toss-up for me. It's a neutral site game, so there's no reason to give advantage to one team over the other. A lot of crazy shit can happen in London, but in a 50-50 game, if you're getting points with one team, I'll take that any day of the week, especially if there's no actual home field advantage. So, Jets plus 3.5. I would even take plus 3 if you can get it, but 3.5 makes it all the more juicier. My next pick is going to be Arizona, who is only -5 against the 49ers. Do you see what this Arizona team has done all season? Blowing out the Rams, being an absolute offensive juggernaut, and their defense surprisingly stepping up with a few big performances, mainly week 1. But overall, Arizona has been by far the most impressive team in the NFL. And now they're only a 5-point favorite at home. So that's saying these teams are about even, plus maybe 2 points. That's what this line is telling me. Do I really believe that? We got San Francisco coming in with Jimmy G most likely not playing. And Trey Lance came in, and I think Trey Lance is going to have a great career. And I think he's going to take off eventually, but he is still fresh to this point. If they thought he could make an impact, they would have brought him out a lot sooner. If they thought he could make an impact now, that is. So getting 5 points for Arizona is a huge deal. And the 49ers, their weakest position, like many other teams, is at cornerback, but they were decimated by injuries earlier in the year. And this 49ers team as a whole just keeps getting more hurt each and every week. Expect the Cardinals to take advantage of that. I think 5 is very much too little. You could say maybe Arizona had a big week last week and they'll suffer a letdown, but this is a division rival. I think they'll get up for them. And speaking of division rivals, the other NFC West game is actually tonight's game. The Rams are only a 2-point favorite at Seattle. And Seattle is missing multiple offensive linemen, and Chris Carson is not likely not to play. And you're telling me that this Rams team, who got embarrassed last week against the Cardinals, are not going to try to come out and prove themselves a little bit? I would say so. This seems like kind of a lock for me, almost like a trap line a little bit. But, Russ and company, they got a must-need win last week against the 49ers. They're going to come into this game obviously really wanting to win, but not with that advantage that they had last week where they had a big chip on their shoulder. Or if anything, the Seahawks will have a chip on their shoulder, but the Rams equally will. And this is another toss-em game. Obviously, Vegas likes the Rams more, making them a road favorite, but there's a good reason they're a road favorite. I think with the injuries to offensive line and the Rams' stout defensive front, that this is Rams all the way for me. So, who else could we possibly pick out of these bundles of games? So, this is definitely a homer pick. But I don't care because I'm loving the Giants plus 7. and I'm sure a lot of the public will too. Coming off that Daniel Jones performance last week, but simply the Giants are feeling a little momentum right now, and coming in down as a touchdown underdog to the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys have been stout defensively compared to previous years. They're still mediocre to above average on it, but they made a big improvement. So this is what makes a lot of people believe the Cowboys are a top 10 team. But this is still a very young team, and this is a division rivalry. The Giants need this game, and I don't think the Giants will win this game, but they need it to stay remotely in division. Otherwise, it's 4-1 versus 1-4, and the Giants are pretty much out of it. The Giants still believe, and a lot of people, including Joe Judge, are fighting for their jobs. This is going to be one of the most important games for the Giants in a while. They're going to show up big time for this. The Cowboys may be feeling themselves a little bit. I think a touchdown is too much. I could see the Giants losing this game by maybe by like 3 or 4. So Giants +7. That's one of my big picks. And last but not least, we're gonna go with a big favorite, kind of, Tampa Bay, who is at -10 right now over the Dolphins. I don't think that's enough. Has anyone seen how the Dolphins have been playing recently? Sure, Tampa Bay's entire secondary is injured. But what does it matter if Miami can't get the ball off in time? There's a huge mismatch on both sides of the ball. And that is Dolphins' putrid offensive line versus the Bucs' stout defensive front. If the Bucs are sending blitzes all game, which if they're smart, they should do that, then Jacoby Brissett's not going to have a chance. And even if he does get some passes off, you know how lethal this offense is for Tampa Bay. The only reason they put up 19 points last week is because they're playing in terrible weather against a very good defense, or at least a very well coached defense. Miami's well coached, but they have, even with their good coaching, they've been getting blown out in games this year. So Tampa Bay -10. And speaking of which, on that note, I'm going back to Survivor picks. I haven't made Survivor picks in a while. I'm still in most of my pools, as most of you should be too, because this year has been pretty chalk. We might have had some eliminations last week with the Titans and the Saints losing. I had the Saints in one, so I'm gone from that pool, but still in a few others, so I'm still very much alive in it. And if you have not used the Buccaneers this week or this year, then I think now is a pretty good time to use it. We know that we don't know what's going to happen later in the year if Brady somehow gets injured, but we know that they're really good now. We know the Dolphins are not. And we look at our other options this week. Well, you've got Minnesota at home against the Lions, and the Lions are very banged up right now. So Minnesota should win that game, but division rivalry. The Lions are desperate for a win, and I believe they're a very well coached team. I'm not touching them betting wise, but Survivor, divisional game this late in the year, it's kind of a stay away from me, and that's the same reasoning why I'm not taking the Cowboys over the Giants. I already like the Giants as an underdog in the point spread, but the Giants are going to come out very motivated for this game because they want to get close to the division. I think it's going to be it's going to make you sweat it out a little bit. If you take them, I'd rather take an easy win with the Bucs. And the rest of these games, maybe the only other game I could see you remotely taking, like let's say you already took Tampa Bay, I take New England at Houston. It's a huge coaching mismatch, and they lost to Houston last year. I think they're going to come out and we'll try to get revenge. And this Houston team, quarterbacked by Davis Mills, is the bottom of the pile. besides the Jaguars. They won their first game, and that still might be the only game they win this year. Take New England with confidence, although the one thing that will concern you is it's a road matchup, and they did lose last year, but that was with Deshaun Watson. So I like Tampa Bay and New England, and the rest of these teams, like you got Baltimore as a 7-point favorite against Indy, but the Colts are still very well coached, and with the Colts getting more of their players back, I could see them hanging tight and making this a game. And then you got Vegas, who's a 5.5-point favorite against Chicago, but I just don't think Vegas is that good. And then someone like Arizona versus San Francisco. Yeah, I think they're going to win by more than 5. But Arizona also plays Houston in 2 weeks at home. So if you haven't used Arizona yet, you should probably save them for that game. So that's really it. Thank you for watching my picks. And really, the big key going forward with these picks is look for key injuries on both sides that the public isn't recognizing, such as key O linemen and D linemen. I don't remember which Seahawks linemen are out, but I think if the public was more aware of the Seahawks injuries, like they'll probably be a pretty decent pick tonight, but I think the Rams would have a higher spread. But that's it from me. This is Shoop Sports signing out, and good luck with your picks this week. Daily fantasy picks coming this weekend as well.